Guess what? I have some good news for you. Yes, astrological good news. Yay! There's a really big day that's happening. May 23rd, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's one of the most anticipated, biggest, brightest, most auspicious days of 2024. The energy is building right now, and you may already feel it. You may be starting to feel it. Underneath of it all is this empowerment that's flowing, and it's leading us to an opening for maybe some kind of quest of some type for you. Now, why is this such a big day? The first thing that's going on, it's a full moon in Sagittarius, and that's going to bring us some open-mindedness, expansive revelation experience. Now, the second thing that happens with this is the full moon is ruled by Jupiter. During this particular day, Jupiter and Venus are coming into their yearly conjunction. This is pretty cool. This is important too because Venus is in Taurus where it rules, so it's adding that lushness to it. We're adding a little bit of glorious Venusian Taurus energy there. The third thing about this, the conjunction is happening in a spectacular sextile to Neptune. Neptune in Pisces is going to bring imagination, dreaminess, loving, deep, expansive, universal heart for this setting. So that adds to it. The fourth thing to know is that the moon is sextile Pluto. The full moon sextile Pluto, and the sun is going to be getting a trine from Pluto. This is going to bring a powerful intensity, intense feelings, empowerment, metamorphosis. Good stuff. What's the big deal about Jupiter and Venus coming together? Well, they're the two benefics. They're the ones that make us feel good. It's like deliciousness maximized. Jupiter and Venus are conjoining together in Taurus on that last degree, which is a little bit of a thank you, I think, to Taurus, because Taurus has been getting it. Taurus has been getting it for a while, and having their conjunction there with Venus ruling inside of Taurus right now, it's giving a lasting bit of sensuality, comfort, joy, pleasure that we can tap into whenever we need to. It's going to take us through the entire next year. Now, Jupiter is the benefic of the day, Venus is the benefic of the night, and when they combine, you just get the best of both. What do they bring us? Well, usually it's feelings of happiness, harmony, pleasure, a feeling of expansive beauty, really just looking out in nature, especially because this is a Taurus end zone energy, and being in awe of it, like the majesty, the majestic gloriousness of nature. And not only that, but the glory of love that's underwriting everything in all shapes, ways, and forms. The Neptune sextile seasoning is another lovely thing that we're adding into it. It's very stimulating. It's of the nature of Venus, as sextile is, and it's just feels good. It feels good. And from Ren Butler, he says, when these three things come together, Venus, Jupiter, and Neptune, we get a feeling of overflowing happy imagination, endearing, zany, fruity charm, whatever that means, sounds like a cereal, a lush and exotic beauty, healthy spiritual ideals in one's relationships, and aesthetic grace and refinement. Also don't forget that Neptune brings universal, expansive, boundaryless love. So we're adding that into this energy. So I really like that. Sounds good to me. When you have something good in astrology, you kind of want to make the most of it. And this one has a lot of goodness. What you can do is use it as an election. And it could be a time where you want to share comfort with others, share your provisions with others, give if you can to your neighbors, and sharing comfort and pleasure is a Taurus principle. One thing I'd love to put in the mix for you is to consider growing something, planting something, growing something. If you love flowers, do that, great. But if I could make a suggestion, I would love for you to get a pot and put in some seeds and grow some of your own food. Really. Anything that you can grow yourself, you have complete control over it. And the more you can grow, the better you're going to be with your health, your wellness. And this is that Taurus energy. It's the end degrees. There's going to be more to that astrologically of why I'm suggesting this now. One thing I've been thinking a lot about are victory gardens. If you don't know what those are, victory gardens were something encouraged by the government in World War I and World War II. There wasn't a lot of supplies for the people, so they were encouraged to plant vegetables and fruits and all in the private residences, and share that with their neighbors. And from Wikipedia, it says during World War I and II, in wartime, the government encouraged people to plant victory gardens, not only to supplement their rations, but to boost morale. They were used along with rationing stamps and cards to reduce pressure on the food supply. Back in those days, people were feeding themselves, feeding their families, feeding their neighbors. And now I think people grow about 0.01% of the food that they eat. It's very, very low. So if you can consider maybe doing something like that for yourself or your family, it might be a gift of love that you're providing from the end degrees of Taurus. Why do I keep talking about that end degree of Taurus and that victory garden and all this? Well, it's because it's an anaretic degree. The anaretic degree is where the conjunction's happening. The last degrees are always ruled by Mars or Saturn when you look at the bounds, okay? And that means that's the manager. The manager of this degree is Mars. And Mars is saying, hey, do something. Get some action. Put some action into it. And where is Mars? That's what we need to know. Is Mars in good shape for this particular conjunction? Yes. Mars is in very good shape because Mars is in Aries. It's adding to that power, pioneer passion. Go put your hands into the dirt or make some homemade bread or whatever it is and share it. If you're not into growing stuff, that's cool too. But perhaps find out where your local farmers are and look for farmers markets and stuff like that. Just try to find more locally sourced food if you possibly can. It's a good idea for things that might be coming down the line further up. Let's talk about the full moon for a little bit. What does a Sagittarius full moon bring us? It's the flip side, the dualistic partner to Gemini, and it's reminding us that there's more than just information. We can go a step further. Those details are the foundational building blocks of meaning, and Sagittarius is really interested in meaning and wisdom. So that's what we can gather from the Gemini. We can only get to wisdom through the experience of Gemini, the collection, lots of data. Those data points tell us what's going to work and what's not going to work and what is wise. That's the foundation of all of it. And Sagittarius also is very emblematic of a quest, of having something meaningful to pursue, the fuel that you need to feed the fire that's burning inside you, or maybe it's just a little ember right now. So what do you want to look into? Sagittarius asks, what kind of exploration do you want to do regarding your beliefs or your philosophy or your spiritual practice? What do you want to get into? What quest do you want to take? What do you want to embody? What do you want to feel? Where do you want to go? Now, this full moon has something very interesting. It's the Pluto principle. Pluto stuff is kind of scary sometimes, it's very life and death and rebirth, massive transformation through difficult experiences at times. It's letting go of things that we sometimes want to keep holding on to. It's forced to let go of those things sometimes. Anyway, it's not always easy, but this is a very supportive energy from Pluto. It's the best we can get. And not only that, but Venus is going to be getting that energy when Venus enters to Gemini. It's going to trine Pluto, and then Jupiter's going to come in. It's going to trine Pluto. The Mercury comes in and trines Pluto. Then you have a stellium of 4 planets in Gemini that have just trined Pluto. So the next period, there's a lot of power coming from under that empowerment that's flowing under the whole surface of everything, supporting it. So the sun's getting the trine, the moon is getting a sextile, another sextile. So lovely from Pluto. Simultaneously, we're getting that. And it's stimulating that Venusian energy. It's bringing the influential emotional power of Pluto into the body, embodiment, because the moon really represents our body. It's the wisdom of Pluto that's coming through, the patience, the depth, the strength to face anything and not flinch. Pluto just doesn't bow down. Pluto doesn't bow down for anything. And sometimes it sucks when you're on the downside of the Pluto story. But usually it's the rebirth that happens. It's the phoenix moment, right? That's what the Pluto promises if you can get through it. But this is more like in Monopoly where you just get to go around the board and collect your $200. It's like, okay, I'm not going to make it that hard for you. I'm going to support you. I'm going to give you this empowerment. I'm going to give you something embodied at this time to flow forward. We have Sun, Moon, and Pluto. Ren Butler puts them together well in the archetypal universe. He says this brings an experience of intense primal nature, feelings of empowerment and potential, a capacity for profound emotional and physical healing, wholehearted efforts to transform oneself. The one thing I can tell you to help transform your health, your wellness, and your physical well-being and your spirit is nature. And this is the Taurus principle that we're getting in that last degree. It's like a last chance. Are you going to go and start seeing the glory that's outside? Are you going to start seeing the glory that's inside? That is what is available right now. I hope you found this information helpful, useful, interesting, any of the above. It's really always my intention is just to bring the best of me to you, whatever I can, and share what I can with you. One last thing I would love to encourage you to do is to use this energy, this full moon, to empower your quest, empower yourself. Find it in your heart to forgive those who need to be forgiven and tell the ones you love how much you love them. It's very powerful. I like you just the way you are. I hope you have a beautiful full moon. Okay, I'll talk to you next time.